Meantime, investors are optimistic, as I said, about those earnings, whether they come during the day or after the trading day, because the numbers by and large have been good. But is this a sign of better things to come, or is this a one-off? Financial analyst Bob Wiedemer and Larry Teller joining us. Larry, what do you think on this?
Well, I think we're in the midst of the first synchronized global recovery that we've seen since 2009. And so earnings, the macro earnings, look at the industrials, the semis, the banks, the credit cards. They've all been good, and that's going to create a reasonably good tailwind for stocks. I don't think, we're going to be up 15% this year, but I do believe we're in the midst of a decade of financial repression that's going to keep stocks always too expensive, but still relatively cheap.
Bob, what do you think?
I think we're going to have a great earnings season. Honestly, could be one of the best since 2011. What's interesting, though, is that's on top of a first quarter where growth was basically maybe about 1/8%. So there's a bit of disconnect there, and we got to overcome that, I think, for this stock rally to continue into May, but I think it could be a long summer.
I always wonder, guys, and Bob, maybe I can get your thought on this, on the tax cut and whether that is part of this, or whether we're getting ahead of ourselves, and it's going to be a battle if it happens at all. What do you think? To you first, Bob.
I think it's pretty likely we'll get some kind of tax cuts, but I think it's going to be a battle. It's going to take time. There is no Democratic support. There's Democratic opposition. Ronald Reagan in 1986, and at 1981, he had to get Democratic support, and he got it. Without that support, I think it's going to just take time. Eventually, but time, and maybe not quite what the market wants.
Larry, what do you think? How integral is it to your forecast?
Not at all. I think 3/4 of the stock market rally, especially since the fall, has been due to growth and earnings, not the election, not tax cuts. Let's face it, border adjustment tax is dead. Any kind of a corporate tax rate, 15%, are you kidding me? It's not feasible. I think maybe 27% is feasible. I do think that any kind of tax cut that is passed won't help anybody until next year, and at the end of the day, it's just going to hurt. It's going to screw the working stiff like me. So I don't think the
You're
stock,
not a
I think
working
it's been in the
stiff.
soup.
Don't minimize what you
oh,
are.
yes, I am. Yes, I am. And, it's been really, I think it's been in the soup for like 2 weeks.
All right. Real quick take on that, Bob. Not that whether he's a working stiff, but whether it's going to be amount to nothing.
We're all working stiffs. I do think the tax cuts were part of the reason the market went up in November and December. Yeah. Certainly, again, he's right. We're seeing some good earnings growth, but I think the tax cuts are something they're looking for.
Gentlemen, I want to thank you both. Great insight.